How you doing? Frankie Russo coming at you straight out of Brooklyn. I'm here for a few. I'm not going to stay on too long, okay? So I just want to give you all an update. I'll be on the air tomorrow night with a more of a drill down on this supposed conceivable Iranian. They tried to make a move on a British oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz, according to Fox News, and they were stopped. They went away of the scene without even firing a shot. So we're going to look at the Fox News article before we close out this brief interlude tonight. So before we go there, talk about our great president, Donald John Trump. I want to talk a quick sports hit. Yankees tomorrow in the stadium against the Toronto Blue Jays. And after that, they have the Tampa Bay Rays coming in. So we'll see what happens with the Yanks on the July 31st trade deadline if the Yankees are going to get a starting pitcher. I believe the Yankees won't get fleeced, and it'll be a telltale sign on if we go for a starter or a relief pitcher. So that'll tell us whether Severino, our ace, and our number two out of the pen, Dylan Betances, what kind of progress they're making. Because if they're making progress and they conceivably could be back in play for this season, Severino and Betances, by no later than August, we're in good shape because that's a trade. That's a major trade. And if we can add another relief pitcher, we're ready for action. So we got that going on. And then we got the NBA, Russ Westbrook from the Okie Thunder. Today got traded to the Houston Rockets for Chris Paul and draft choices. So I think that shakes up further the NBA West. That really brings conceivably the old oil in the ointment. So I thought LeBron and Anthony Davis was going to be a tough tandem to tow with, but now you got Westbrook with the Houston Rockets, so that's got to gin things up some more further along. Absolutely right. And unfortunately, my Knicks, I guess the Knicks are going with the youth movement. Go figure. Hopefully, I like the youth nucleus the Knicks I really like the youth nucleus the Knicks have, but I was hoping for a max free agent that would a vet that would help bring things together, because I believe the Knicks can make the playoffs next year. So we'll drill down on that as it gets closer, because that's more towards October. End of this month, NFL football, New York Giants camp opens up, and we believe that the Giants are trending toward bringing back their old style of offense. According to GM Gettleman, he's got the hog mollies and he's got the big back, the Saquon Barkley. They got him a pair of high tops, and the Giants are going to look to run the football. Hopefully first. Hopefully, I'd be shocked if they totally embrace the power running football. But if they trend in that direction, it would be quite extraordinary, right? Because now we're talking about ball control, it just solves a lot of problems if we can run the football. Less turnovers, we control the ball more, we keep the Tom Brady's, the Drew Breeses, right? The Russell Wilson quarterbacks off the field, and we control the football. I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. And we're going to drill down on that and look at the Giant prospects as we get closer to September 5th, conceivably the first those are the first NFL games in this 2019 NFL season. So we'll start to drill down on that as the camp opens up and as we get closer to September 5th. So that's our sports take on the Frankie Russo show straight out of Brooklyn. Okay. So now I'm going to cut to We're going to do a quick joust and cut to our great president, Donald John Trump, who did a great thing today and appeared before the American people, quite frankly, and laid it on the line and told everybody he's going to keep fighting for this question, this American citizen question on the 2020 census. I mean, it's extraordinary how many people from the left, these lefty Dems, are looking to destroy our great nation and actually challenge the sovereignty of this great nation. Because it's quite imperative, as our great president has indicated, that it's important that we know who the American citizens are and who are the illegals who are here pulling a fugazi on us, right? It's like what the Democrats said during the debates, their last debate. They raised their hands. The illegals should be getting, according to the Democrats, these lefty socialists, whatever you want to call them, these lefty loon jobs want to give illegal aliens health care. They're allowing, according to all of the data coming out, there is some serious concerns of this voter fraud issue where you have more people voting than actually live in these districts. And they've been targeting the analysis of voter fraud. They've been actually targeting some of these districts, and patterns are emerging. So we're a big country. We have a lot of people here, and it's, with all of the way the immigration authorities handled our immigration issues and problems for the last decades, this whole thing has exacerbated and has accumulated into a major issue. And we just point toward the vectors I have on my website with these radical Islamists coming in here, utilizing sleeper terror cells in the San Diego, Phoenix, San Antonio, as well as in New York, right? How'd they get in here? Immigration fraud. They killed, unfortunately, they did the horrific hits on Americans. September 11, 2001, horrific hit on the World Trade Center, killed thousands of Americans. Immigration fraud. They had the 19 9/11 hijackers had 60 plus state IDs and driver's licenses. Today, de Blasio is running for, the mayor of New York is running for president, and he wants to give all illegal aliens driver's licenses, as did the governor from California, Jerry Brown, and the new governor, the lieutenant governor, whatever his name is, Ramson, whatever, giving illegal aliens driver's licenses. Breeding grounds for terror. Not concerned about homeland security, more concerned about the immigrants. The Trump administration, our great president, Donald John Trump, the Trump doctrine clearly states, make America great again. The American citizens in the Trump policies, American citizens come first. That's it. That's the beauty of the Trump doctrine. And our great president will continue to fight for the rights of the American citizens first. He has a big heart. He's not being inhumane to other individuals, other cultures, other people. But people have to come here legally, and American citizens come first. Our American vets come first. Our men and women of the United States Armed Forces come first. That is the policy of our great president, Donald John Trump. And he addressed that today from the White House with our great Attorney General, William Barr. and also I think the Commerce Secretary, I think Secretary Ross as well was there. So now to move this forward, because I'm going to get off the air very shortly, I just want to address this. Just give you a brief, because we're gonna drill down on this tomorrow. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard boats tried to seize British oil tanker in Strait of Hormuz. Right there it is. Right. So 5 Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps gunboats tried to seize a British oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz, but backed off after a British warship approached, according to a senior U.S. defense official. This is Fox News. The British warship was said to have been less than 5 miles behind the tanker, but soon intercepted the Iranian boats and threatened to open fire. A manned U.S. reconnaissance aircraft was also above as well, the official said, adding that Iranian forces left without opening fire. Navy Captain Bill Urban, spokesman for the U.S. Central Command, CENTCOM, that's the Pentagon, said the military was aware of the reported actions. He added, threats to international freedom of navigation require an international solution. The world economy depends on the free flow of commerce, and it is incumbent on all nations to protect and preserve this linchpin of global prosperity. According to this Fox News article, the British frigate was identified as the HMS Montrose, according to the Sun publication. The vessel repeatedly trained its 30-millimeter deck guns on the enemy fleet and warned them off. The incident was the latest in a series of provocations between the Islamic Republic of Iran and the West. British forces last week seized an Iranian supertanker that officials believed was operating in violation of European Union sanctions. The British Royal Marines captured the vessel in Gibraltar after believing it was trying to provide crude oil to Syria, an enemy of Iran. Iranian President Hassan Rouhani warned that Britain would face repercussions over the seizure. Just recently, in addition, Iran shot down, unfortunately, they shot down a U.S. drone, and there was discrepancy where that drone was. Our officials claimed that was done, that was a very inappropriate act by Iran. And so our president has been doing his due diligence, and he addressed it in a different way. And he's taking a wait and see, because we're the big players here, right? So Iran is trying to do their asymmetrical, according to a general from the Pentagon, I forgot his name, claiming that basically Iran is being a little, quite frankly, amateurish on their approach toward our rights in these international waters, and the way they've actually tried to manage and invoke these attacks have been, according to this Pentagon general, quite amateurish. Okay, so, but with that being said, we cannot overlook and underestimate the Islamic Republic of Iran. That much I'll say, and we'll address that after this. So, according to Fox News, U.S. officials also blamed Iran for attacks on 6 oil tankers in the area. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has accused the regime of trying to disrupt the flow of oil in the area. Now, Secretary of State Pompeo is an amazing diplomat, and he's one of our great president's quite frankly, he's like one of our great president's weapons in this diplomatic. When I talk about Secretary of State Pompeo, National Security Advisor John Bolton, and at the time U.S. Ambassador to the UN Nikki Haley, that was the Trump team. That was our great president's team, and I refer to them as the Dobermans. They're tough, very tough. So President Trump could play his diplomacy with the world leaders, while his team are sick in he's sick in the Dobermans on him with his team. He's got a tough diplomatic team. And when he talks about sanctions, President Trump means it. His administration enforces those sanctions. It's not like with Obama, a slap on the wrist like he did with all the sanctions with Iran. They're all slaps on the wrist. There was a letter from I don't know if he can't be, because the House is controlled by the Democrats now. So it was at the time he was the chairman of the House chairman of the Foreign Affairs, which was Congressman Ross from California, and his co-chair was Ross Leatham from Florida. And they wrote this seething letter to John Kerry at the time, to the Obama-Clinton crime family anti-American vector field, claiming that they're unilaterally lifting sanctions without even going through, let alone reporting to the oversight committees of this Committee of Foreign Affairs on the violators of the sanctions. They just unilaterally lifted sanctions. They called it de facto sanction relief to the Islamic Republic of Iran, violation of the non-proliferation treaty of Iran, the non-proliferation treaty of Iran, Syria, and North Korea. For 3 years, they didn't report, the State Department did not report to the oversight committees on the violators of the sanctions. So according to Congressman Ross and Congresswoman Ross Leatham, that was a evidence of a de facto sanction relief for the Islamic Republic of Iran for 3 years. No reporting of sanction violators under the Obama-Clinton crime family, and violation of the Non-Proliferation Act of Iran, Syria, and North Korea. So that was that. So with that being said, so we understand that, and in addition, Iran's been threatening, as we talked about this surpassing the uranium enrichment levels. Well, quite frankly, according to Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, and the Mossad, his intelligence hub, Iran's lying, and Iran's lying again, right? Quite frankly, they probably already have, without even saying it, they've been passing the Iranian enrichment levels for quite some time. They probably have already passed them. They're building, Iran and Russia are building nuclear reactors inside of Iran. And according to the Mossad, Israel's intelligence hub, all evidence the Iranian atomic archive files are proof that Iran is pursuing nuclear weapons proliferation. Okay, so that's that. And our great president, as you know, pulled the United States out of the deal, the fake Obama Iranian nuke deal with John Kerry and Hillary Clinton last year, but several European Union nations remained involved. Those countries, Russia, China, that's basically the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Russia and China are partners. Germany, France, Britain, European Union, NATO, right, have called on Iran to stick to its commitments under the deal. Fake. Iran is not sticking to the deal, evidenced by Netanyahu's data from the Mossad on the Iranian atomic archive files. So basically, they're fronting these NATO countries because they basically want to do business with Iran. They want their companies like Total SA from France, who is actually in the gas field that Iran shares with Qatar, building an LNG plant with China, so Iran could become a liquefied natural gas exporter. Thank you, Obama, Hillary Clinton, crime family, anti-American vector field. It's only because of their policies that Iran is making advances in that regard. So so what we're going to do is, because we believe that, so tomorrow we're going to drill down on this further, because we believe that it can be argued that Iran, their intentions, according to this article, it says here, U.S. officials blamed Iran for attacks on 6 oil tankers in the area. So they're basically trying to not only disrupt the flow, because according to here's the Strait of Hormuz, right? I'll show you the picture of the Strait of Hormuz. I'll give you a little micro snapshot of the Strait of Hormuz and the tanker traffic, the oil tanker traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, right? Here it is, right? The Strait of Hormuz, the Persian Gulf, the Strait of Hormuz is right here. Here's the traffic. Here's the traffic, right? So a lot, 30 to 35% of global oil flows through this water passageway, 35%. So it is a lot of traffic, and it narrows to like 2 miles apart, the land. It's crazy, right? So apparently it says here, according to the Fox News article, oil exporters transport around 22 million barrels of oil per day through this water passageway, the Strait of Hormuz. So Iran's aware of its importance in the overall global economy, right? It affects a lot of nations if they disrupt it. So that's what they're threatening to do. They've apparently attacked one, I think it was a Japanese oil tanker. And according to Fox News, they've tried to do it on 6, and they were thwarted on this last one with the Britain oil tanker. So, but the point is that by Iran disrupting and causing havoc in the Strait of Hormuz with this transporting of oil, one of their goals might be, which probably is to by creating such a disruption in the Strait of Hormuz with the transporting of this oil through this 35%, 30 to 35% of oil production, global oil production flows through this water passageway to the tune of 22 million barrels of oil per day flowing through this water passageway. Conceivably, it can't be ruled out that by causing a major disruption, they might be able to the point where conceivably try to drive up the price of oil. It might be a goal. It probably is a goal. You can't rule it out. I mean, I don't have incontrovertible truth to actually say that that's. I mean, you definitely can't rule that out. That Iran is trying to disrupt the Strait of Hormuz, the 30 to 35% of oil transports through this water passageway. The oil tankers pass through this water passageway, which to the tune of 22 million barrels per day. And here's the micro map to show it. And here's the Persian Gulf to the Strait of Hormuz, right over here. So, and you can't rule out an Iranian objective of trying to drive up to an incident in the Strait of Hormuz to try to drive up the oil and conceivably put a hurt on our thriving, hot, growing, expanding economy, as our great president has done a fabulous job. So trying to hurt our president in with the economy and try to hurt our president politically, it can't be ruled out. I can't rule it out, right? That's got to be conceivably an objective of the Islamic Republic of Iran. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to drill down on this, and I'm going to compare it. I'm going to compare it to the oil crisis of the 1973 oil crisis, the 1973 oil embargo, where OPEC, headed by Saudi Arabia, had a bigger market share in the overall global oil production. And we were, at the time in the 70s, our oil production was on a decline. So we were much more oil dependent, right? We were oil dependent, absolutely. And we'll look at the effects of that as well. And obviously, the market has changed from the 70s. We are, according to our great president, we are the number one oil exporter on the planet. And we are oil independent. We are energy independent. And we are, as our great president is moving, we are energy diplomats. We are moving through our energy and garnering greater regional influence than ever before through our energy sector, our exploding, under our great president Donald Trump, our exploding energy sector. So we're going to explore and compare today's climate, looking at obviously a reduced OPEC market share in the overall global oil production market, as opposed to the 70s, where OPEC had a much greater market share. So we're going to look at the pros and the cons, and see the consequences, and see if there's anything that could come out of it. I don't know. So we're going to look at that. That's going to be interesting, and we'll see. I got some good articles to look at. I'll go over them before we go on air. So we'll look at some excerpts from these articles, and we'll try to drill down and see, because conceivably we believe that maybe, in all likelihood, in all probability, Iran's objective from this thing is not only to be like a terror attack, but also with the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, these gunboats, but also the other bite to this apple is they could try to drive up the overall price of oil per barrel, which could conceivably at some point hurt our great economy. And I think that's got to be conceivably an objective of the Islamic Republic of Iran. And it's got to be, and also to add to this also is the fact that the former Obama administration officials meeting with the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Mohammad Javad Zarif, and telling him not to worry and wait till after the election, to me is treasonous. The interference of the Obama-Clinton crime family and our great president's diplomatic relations, diplomatic talks, his diplomatic and/or actions or postures, whichever way he can see. I mean, his diplomacy is quite frankly, I think it's extraordinary. He's a tremendous. Our president is a tremendous negotiator, and he's a world-class diplomat with a thriving, hot economy, and he knows how to leverage it. Is basically what I'm trying to say. So, and our president doesn't. He's not naive, and he's real, and he's honest, and you know, he doesn't buy into Iran's, he doesn't believe Iran's objectives, and he doesn't buy into what the Obama Clinton crime family bought into, that if you give them 150 billion, if you give the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps 1.7 billion in cash, that's going to take them out of the terror world, the terror game, and that's going to have them not want to blow up Israel and blow up America, which is a very, at the very least, naive, but we believe the Obama Clinton crime family, the anti-American vector field, is treasonous, putting American people, both home and abroad, in harm's way due to the Obama Clinton crime family anti-American vector field. And the truth be told, our great president will not be fooled, because he's looking out for America's best interests, the interests of the American people, our safety, as well as the world, because the number one objective with the Trump doctrine is not to have a nuked up Iran. And President Trump understands the danger of a nuked up Iran. Because in a nuclear war, nobody wins. That's a lose-lose for everybody, truth be told. So with that being said, we're going to drill down tomorrow and compare conceivably what Iran's trying to do in the Strait of Hormuz, attacking these oil tankers, and what that might do to the economy, overall global economy, maybe drive up the price of oil. With the grace of God, it never happens, but we're just going to look at it and see what effect. Obviously, like we said earlier, the markets were different in the 70s as opposed to today. We're such a big player. We are the biggest energy player on the planet. We are the number one oil exporter on the planet. Our energy sector, according to our great president, is exploding. And he opened up all those regulations, took away all those regulations that the Obama family had. The anti-American vector field had a chokehold on our economy. He also lifted up the anti-drilling, the anti-drilling that in many instances throughout the country, in federal land, etc., the Obama Clinton crime family had a chokehold on the drilling of oil. And President Trump lifted those restrictions, right? He unleashed the American energy sector and now has us as the number one energy sector on the planet. Thank you to our great president, Donald John Trump. So we're going to move this forward. Tomorrow night, we're going to drill down, and I'll be on the air either before or after the Yankee game, and then we'll get into more of the nuts and bolts of this thing, comparing today to the 1970s. Okay, this is Frankie Russo coming at you. God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Thank you for your service. God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Thank you for the freedom that you're providing me so I can come up here and broadcast. God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. God bless the greatest country on the planet. I love my country. I love America, the greatest country on the planet. God bless America, and God bless our great president, Donald John Trump. This is Frankie Russo. I'll catch you all tomorrow night, 9:30-ish, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. This is Frankie Russo, and I'll see you in the future.